enjoy the evening. So good evening once again, everyone, and welcome to this evening session. As I said, I'm going to start ulta. So I'm going to begin with a vote of thanks. Yeah, because later on, the mood is different. People are not very attentive. So let me thank first the BCAS and all the respected people who adorn this august organization. I'm here because of Rashmi Dave, but Rashmi Dave is not here. So he should be here any moment. I know it comes from far away. Yeah. And yes. And I'm very happy to see my colleagues here from Pratibim. I would like to introduce Naresh Padia and Mohanji and Suresh Ahuja, who are also trustees in Pratibim. And these are the pillars on which this organization has been standing. So, while you are enjoying the music in the background, I want to understand why chartered accountants got interested in a subject called life and death. Without good health, you can't do anything. Okay? Stress is increasing. Yeah, that's the valid reason. Family problems of senior citizens. I see a lot of family problems of junior citizens.
At least your experience for senior citizens.
So there is. Rashmi Bhai is here. So thanks to him, I am here. At the end of the session or during the session, you are free to ask me any questions. But before you get the opportunity to ask questions, I want to ask questions. Yeah. As I said, I'm going to do everything ulta. So
if any of you talk, please talk on the mic. Otherwise, the online cannot hear. There are another 200 online.
oh, there are 200 online? That's great. Okay, there are a few questions of my own, and let me begin with something in your fields. So what is debit? What is credit? All of you are more qualified to talk about this than me. And then, what is a law? Again, you people are more qualified to talk about this. Now, what is life? Not many people are qualified to talk about this. What is breath? Again, not many people know what is breath. What is a disease? Some people think they know what is a disease, but this is something which we will explore today. What is the mind? This is also another thing which has confused a lot of people. And the evergreen subject, what is marriage? Yeah, we will talk about this. Then what is religion? And you see the hangama that religion creates all over the world. Then certain traditional words like dharma. What is dharma? What is karma? And what is prana? So I have these questions for you. I don't want you to answer now. We will explore these questions in today's session and we will see how it correlates to life, how it correlates to breath. And as I said, we will address any of your questions. In between, please feel free to interrupt me, stop me, ask me anytime you feel something triggers in your mind and you feel like asking a question. Don't wait till the end of the show to ask your questions. You can stop me anywhere and ask. So my rudimentary knowledge of debit and credit is debit the receiver, credit the giver. Yeah. So who is receiving? In life, we are all receiving. We don't realize it, but we are receiving. And who is giving? The universe in which we live is giving. I am receiving, the universe is giving. I am not aware how much I am receiving. Yeah, and we'll come to that. If I receive more and give less, what happens? Accountancy? Imbalance, absolutely imbalance. Yeah. If I receive less and give more, the same thing, imbalance. In number 1 and number 2 above, will there be balance? Absolutely not. And life is about balance. If you really want to understand life, then life is about balance. And if we are living today in imbalance, then we are in trouble in life. And that's what we are seeing everywhere. You want me to speak a little higher? Okay. Can I speak here? Is this better? Okay, I will speak here. Is that more audible for everyone? Online. No, not this crowd. This crowd, I don't need a mic. Audible. Yeah. Let's experiment and experience this imbalance. Ready? Let's experiment and experience this imbalance. What do you see on your screen? The screen is visible to the online audience. The screen is visible. So what do you see on the screen? Yes, inhalation. And what do you see now? Exhalation. Okay, I want all of you to sit straight. All of you to sit straight. Take a deep breath and fill up your lungs. Exhale through the nose. Very nice. Wonderful. Do it again. Inhale through the nose. Don't exhale. 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 Possible? So inhalation and exhalation have to be balanced. If you don't balance inhalation and exhalation, you are in trouble. Right? But it is also telling you another story. And that story is, I cannot be only a receiver in life. I cannot be inhaling air throughout. That means I am a receiver. I have also to learn to be a giver. Because if I don't give out air, it's not possible for me to receive air. And this is the education that comes to me from the point of my birth, without anybody telling me. Unless I inhale and exhale, I cease to exist. I have to inhale and exhale in a balanced manner to continue to live. So that brings me to a jar of chocolates. And I want a volunteer. Can you come up? Just stand here. No, he doesn't have to say. He doesn't have to say. I will be saying. Can't see him? Okay, come on the stage. Right. What do you see? Chocolates in a jar. And that's the title of the slide. Jar of chocolates. Okay. I'm going to give you another packet of chocolates. Okay. I'm going to leave this jar here. Sorry, your name, please? Advait. Advait, I want you to fill chocolates in that jar from the packet that I gave you. The same chocolates. Don't think, just fill. Don't think. Open the jar. Open the jar. Yeah, it's already full. So fill up. Fill it. Possible? Not possible. Yeah. The jar is full. The jar has received chocolates already. Once you have received everything in life and you refuse to give out, the flow from the universe stops to you. The universe stops giving you things because you are already full and you are refusing to give. You are not a giver, you are a taker. Talk in the mic. Switch it on. So this jar cannot be filled with additional chocolates because it is already full. Now I'm going to give you another jar. So here is a second jar. Can you fill that?
Yes.
Please do. And count how many you're filling. There he goes. Filling up more and more. And squeezing more into the jar. Wow, he really is a taker.
Jar is full.
Can you close the jar? Yes, he did. He did. Well done. So I'm going to give you a third jar. Can you fill that jar?
Yes.
How many? How many did you fill here?
16.
16. Count how many you fill there.
Okay.
When it comes to taking, there is no holding back. Close it. How many?
23.
23. Okay. So in the first bottle or first jar, he couldn't fill anything.
No.
In the second, he filled 16 or 17?
16.
16. And in the third bottle, which was fully empty, he could fill 23. Yeah. Now fill all the 3 bottles again. Can you add any more?
No.
All the 3 bottles are full. Nothing can be added. Why? Because the bottles are not emptied. You have taken so much from the universe that you have filled your life with goodies. Now nothing can be given to you unless you learn to give out something back. Can you empty something from one bottle? Empty out.
Okay.
Now can you receive? Yes, now he can receive because he has emptied out. It's a simple technology which we learn even in our laptop. Once your hard disk is full of files, you cannot store any more files unless you clean up the hard disk, remove some of the files. So give and take is a law of life. And this is exactly what we learned in these 3 jars of chocolates. So let's give Advait a big hand.
Thank you.
Thank you, Advait, for your participation. Human beings don't like to give, and therefore they feel मेरे पास जितना आना चाहिए उतना नहीं आ रहा है. कैसे आएगा? आप देना ही नहीं चाहते हो तो आएगा कहां से? पहले देना सीखो. You can't even take a breath. You can't even take a breath without giving out a breath. Now the next question that might arise in your mind is, what has the universe really given me? It's a natural question, no? My counter is, what has the universe not given you? Take this breath, for example. Do you know how many breaths you take per minute? On an average, an adult takes 15 breaths per minute, 1-5. So by that logic, in a day of 24 hours, which is equal to 1,440 minutes, you are taking 21,600 breaths. Now you will say, I am giving out 21,600 breaths. हिसाब किताब बराबर. मैंने 21,600 breaths लिया, 21,600 breaths दिया. हिसाब किताब बराबर. So if you are thinking like a chartered accountant, debit and credit balance equal, तो आपको एक और experiment देता हूं. Take your left hand and put it on your mouth. Put the left hand on your mouth and right hand से नाक दबा के रखो. बैठे रहो ऐसे, 1 घंटा ऐसे बैठे रहो. क्या होगा? Not possible. तो आप ब्रेथ देते हो, इसमें कोई बड़ाई नहीं है. आपको ब्रेथ चाहिए, इसलिए आपको देना पड़ता है. आपने पहले एक्सपेरिमेंट में देखा ना कि विदाउट गिविंग आउट द ब्रेथ यू कांट टेक द ब्रेथ, एंड इफ यू कांट टेक द ब्रेथ यू आर ओवर, योर स्टोरी इज ओवर. तो आप ब्रेथ देने में कोई मेहरबानी नहीं कर रहे हो. ब्रेथ आप दे रहे हो बिकॉज इट्स अ नेचुरल प्रोसेस एंड यू नीड द इनटेक और द इनहेलेशन. दैट्स व्हाई यू आर गिविंग. बट देयर आर अदर थिंग्स यू रिसीव इन लाइफ and you don't compensate. You receive from your parents. You receive food. You receive drink. You receive education. You receive clothes. You receive shelter. Can you price it as chartered accountants? Can you put a value to it? कभी कोशिश किया है? एक लेजर अकाउंट बनाओ पेरेंट्स का. Has anybody made a ledger account for his parents? Can you make it? तो आप क्या दोगे? For all the things that you have received only from your parents. Forget your teachers, forget your employers, forget all the people who came in your life. I'm talking only of your parents. Can you prepare a ledger account for your parents? पूरी जिंदगी निकल जाएगी, आप एक ही कॉलम भरते जाओगे, दूसरे कॉलम में आओगे ही नहीं. You give what you have. अभी इस पे ध्यान देना. Suppose you have understood this law of giving, that giving is necessary. How many of you have understood giving is necessary? Without giving, I cannot receive. If you have understood this law, then you can give only what you have. So if your heart is full of love, you can give love to the people around you. But if this is what you have, then this is what you give. If you are full of anger, if you are full of hatred, if you are full of jealousy, if you are full of garbage, then that's what you are capable of giving. Because instead of the chocolates, if I had filled this jar with mud, would anybody get a chocolate? Now here is the temptation. Would anybody get the chocolate? दिया किधर हमको chocolate? चल अद्वैत, सबको chocolate बांट दे. नहीं तो लोग बोलेंगे आप तो बोल रहे हो खाली स्टेज पे खड़े रह के, हाँ देते तो कुछ नहीं हो, बांट दो. So while Advait is distributing the chocolates to the audience, and I'm sorry for the online people, you'll have to take a virtual chocolate. So how do they see my face? I don't know where the camera is. On the screen, okay. So you can only give what you have. So what you have depends on you. What did you collect in your jar? Did you collect mud or did you collect chocolates? If you have collected chocolates, you are capable of giving out chocolates. But if you have collected mud, then you are not capable of giving out chocolate. So be clear in your mind that in life what you will collect, because that is what will come out of you into the society. Now comes the question which all chartered accountants answer in their curriculum, isn't it? What is law? Chartered accountants deal with law, I think. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, one chartered accountant is saying yes. Okay. So what is law? अरे मैं खाऊंगा तो बोलूंगा नहीं, मैं बाद में खाऊंगा. So what is law? From a chartered accountant. Law is rule or something. What is something?
Leads down the guidelines or the direction how one should act or
How one should act or not. BCS के और कोई लोग? What is law? Regulations. So he says rules, you are saying regulations. English people are funny people. No, for the same subject, they have 3 different words. I never understand English. ये ऐसे क्यों बनाते हैं 3 different words? So let's see what is law. Law is the existence of a condition irrespective of circumstances. The condition never changes. Circumstances can change. The centuries can change. The year can change. The month can change. The day can change. The weather can change. Law never changes. Yeah? And since you said rules and since you said regulations, we'll deal with rules and regulations. Rules are instructions written so that humans understand and obey the law. Rules are instructions. They are the SOPs for you to understand and obey the law. Yes, no? So what is the rule in traffic? Red light, orange light, green light. When there is red light, what do? You stop. Orange light, you slow down. Green, you go. So it is a rule written that when you see a green light, go. Then what are regulations? Regulations are a separate set of instructions meant to penalize those humans who disobey the first set. So rules and regulations are not the law. In the traffic, which law we are talking of? We are talking of the law of order. Order is maintained when human beings understand and obey the law, first set of rules. When those rules are not obeyed, then the human being is penalized, and that is regulations. सही है? म्यूचुअल फंड सही है. So to exemplify this law, here is a famous picture. All of you know this, right? What is this? No, what is this picture? Newton. Yeah, apple is falling down. Whether it is January, February, October, November, December, apple will always fall down. Whether it is America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, apple will always fall down. Whether it is a red apple or a green apple, apple will always fall down. Whether it is a chota apple or a bada apple, it will always fall down. Whether it is a kacha apple or a ripe apple, it will always fall down. Whether it is summer, winter, rain, autumn, spring, apple will always fall down. Circumstances can change. The law never changes. Clear? We are all governed by universal laws, and there is no exception in the universal laws. Universal laws are perfect laws. Man-made laws are imperfect laws. So we come to life, and life is a law. Some say life is a simultaneous occurrence of events and activities. It's a simultaneous occurrence. Simultaneously, a lot of things are happening in our lives. Simultaneously, I am playing the role of a father, playing the role of a husband, playing the role of a son, playing the role of an employee, playing the role of an employer, playing the role of a customer, playing the role of a seller. I'm playing different roles. simultaneously. And at different points of time, I'm engaging in different activities. So it's an occurrence of events and activities. As a child, the activities were different, the events were different. Everybody was pampering me, everybody was trying to cheer me up, everybody was paying a lot of attention to me. Yeah, then I grew up into a child, and then my activities changed. There were some outdoor activities, I engaged myself in sporting activities, I engaged myself in curricular activities, education. So my activities changed. And then when I grew up, my activities were quite different. But as long as I have life, I have simultaneously engaged myself in events and activities. So when I say events and activities, what do I mean? There is a beginning event, there is an activity that leads to another event, which we call as a head event. The head event becomes the tail event for the next activity, which will lead to the next head event. So life is a collection of events and activities, right? So these are definitions of life, but still this doesn't tell what life is. We'll come to that. So is life a burden? Some people will say, हाँ, बहुत तकलीफ है, कष्ट ही कष्ट है. Is life sorrow? दुखी मन मेरे, सुन मेरा कहना. Huh? So for some people, life is a sorrow. रोते बैठो. Is life anger? Yeah. Amitabh made a career out of anger. Angry young man, isn't it? So for some, life is full of anger. Is life guilt? And some people live life with a guilt complex. अरे ये किया गलती किया, अरे वो किया गलती किया, अरे मेरे से गलती हो रहा है, अरे ये कैसे होता है, मेरे से कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं होता है. Constantly you are living in guilt and you are trying to avoid people's eyes, not looking at them with shaded eyes. For some, life is full of desires and temptations. And people engage themselves in fulfilling their desires and succumbing to their temptations. So is life a set of all this? Or is life full of joy? Is life full of gratitude? Is life full of respect? Is life full of love? Is life full of peace? What do you want? The first row or the second row? We all want the second row because it looks very nice in pictures, right? But what are we practicing? We are practicing the first row, isn't it? And we claim ourselves to be the most intelligent species on earth. And yet, look what we are practicing. Life is a journey from birth to death, and I have deliberately colored B and D differently. Between B and D, there is another letter called C, and C is choice. So your life is your choice. You are living according to your choice, whether you like it or not. You might say, my wife was not my choice, it was my parents' choice. गन पॉइंट पे शादी कराया क्या? शादी कर नहीं तो उड़ा डालूंगा गोली से. It was ultimately your choice. You chose to obey your parents. That was your choice. You chose to obey your parents. Believe it or not, like it or not, the current state of affairs in your life has been chosen by you. So you have no reason to complain. यार मेरे लाइफ में तकलीफ ही तकलीफ है. You have chosen the तकलीफ. You didn't even know how you chose the taklif. Yaar, my life is full of worries. You have chosen to worry. You are the creator of your sorrow. You are the creator of your worry. You are the creator of the hatred that is filled in you. Remember, whatever you fill in your jar is what comes out in your life. If you have filled the chocolates of joy and gratitude and respect, that will come out in life. If you have filled the jar with the mud of anger and sorrow and hatred and jealousy, that will come out in life. You are the architect of your life. You are the creator of your life. Are you with me so far? Am I putting you to sleep? I'll give you another chocolate. Otherwise, is ever ready to distribute chocolates. Then we come to the substance. What is breath? Physically, breath is a substance, padarth. You are physically inhaling a substance through your nose, which fills up your chest. Chemically, it is oxygen, because the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide is taking place in your breathing. So if you talk chemically, it is oxygen, carbon dioxide, chemistry. If you're talking physics, it is pumping. The lungs are pumping in and out, in and out, in and out. And in terms of the heat in your body, breath is energy. Energy is motion. Motion is friction. Friction produces heat. How many of you fast? Ekadashi ka fast, ya Paryushan ka fast, ya Ramzan ka fast, something or the other. Some one day fast, or fasting for the sake of reduction, weight reduction. Yeah. So all of you have an experience of fasting. Yeah. How many of you have gone without water for, let's say, 8-10 hours? Yes, most of us have this experience of having gone without food or water for a length of time. Have you taken your body temperature when you are fasting? Can you guess what your body temperature would be when you are fasting? You have not eaten, you have not drunk. Your body temperature maybe would drop down by 1 degree. Will it drop down by 10 degrees? Huh? Will the temperature go up by 5 degrees? 105 का बुखार हो गया, आज मैं fasting कर रहा हूं. Will it happen? That never happens. So when you have deprived yourself of food and drink, nothing happens to your body temperature. Now deprive yourself of breath. What will happen? Take a fast of breath. क्या होगा? काम तमाम, absolutely काम तमाम, लगाओ हमाम. बॉडी को धो डालो, अच्छे कपड़े पहना दो, कंधे पे उठाओ, लेके जाओ. काम तमाम. The heat in your body is directly related to the breath, not to the food or the drink. Fasting food and drink doesn't change your body temperature, but fasting breath, your body temperature will drop immediately. Your body becomes cold. So there is something in that breath which is adding to the heat in your body. That's something which is not yet discovered by science. That's something which people say energy, prana shakti, life force. And energy is a constant motion because energy moves in a sine curve, frequency and amplitude. So whenever there is motion, there is friction. Whenever there is friction, there is heat. So when you are taking in air, you are also taking in prana energy, and you are living because of that. So let's understand the breathing process a little more, because the subject today is life and breath. I am alive because I am breathing. The minute I stop breathing, I am no longer alive. So let's understand this breathing process. So here is a chart which shows you a schematic of the lungs and the heart. So what happens with the lungs? You will see oxygen coming into the lungs. There is oxygen coming into the lungs. And then it gets distributed in both the lobes. And here is impure blood, the blue dot that came into the lungs. The oxygen burns the impurities, carbon dioxide is thrown out, and pure blood goes back to the heart. And this is a continuous process. Oxygen will come in. It will burn the impurities of the impure blood that the heart is pumping into the lungs. The burning process will create carbon dioxide, which will be thrown out of your lungs through the nose. And the result is purification of blood, which returns to the heart for onward pumping to various organs in the body. So this is the breathing process. Oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange during inhalation and exhalation. Now here is something which will interest you as chartered accountants. Because you're all familiar with NPA. What is NPA? Non-performing assets. Now look at the extreme right column. What does it say? Your total lung capacity is 6,000 ml, which is 6 liters. Now look at the second column, which says tidal volume. What does it say? What is tidal volume? What is the tide? Which comes and which goes. Ebb and flow, tide. So where is the ebb and flow in your breath? The inhalation and the exhalation, the inhalation and the exhalation. So tidal volume is the quantity of air that you are inhaling and exhaling at one time. So per breath, you are dealing with 500 ml, which is what percentage of your lung capacity? Less than 10%, right? Less than 10%. So what are you doing? 90% of your lungs are NPA, non-performing asset. Who has given you the asset? Who has given you the asset? The universe. When you were born, the lungs came along with your birth. Are you using them adequately? No, you are not. It is like us Indians earn a lot of money and store it for the next 7 generations. 7 पुरखों के लोग खाएंगे. आप क्या करोगे? हम पेट काट काट के जिएंगे ताकि मेरे आने वाले संतान आराम से जिए. Yes, no? So you are earning 100,000 salary and you are using only 10,000. 90,000 आप सेव कर रहे हो, which will never be used by you, which will be used by somebody else. So your efforts are not going towards your direct benefits. And आप चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट क्वालिफाई हो गए हो. कैसे हो गए? किसने बनाया आपको चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट? आप आपके एसेट्स यूज नहीं कर रहे हो. कभी सोचा है? Have you applied chartered accountancy to life? You applied chartered accountancy to chemical business. You applied chartered accountancy to textile business. You applied chartered accountancy to export and trade, to the pharmaceutical industry, to the food industry. Everything you can bring it down in terms of debit, credit, rupee, euro, dollar. Have you applied this technique to life? आपकी बैलेंस शीट कितनी इम्बैलेंस है आपको ही पता चल जाएगा. कोई भी सीए उसको सर्टिफाई नहीं करेगा. Are you getting this? So if you are looking at this highly depressing chart with such a huge non-performing asset, what is the obvious step that you need to take? Convert the non-performing asset into a performing asset, isn't it? And how do you do that? Convert the non-utilized portions of the lungs and bring them into utilization. And what happens when you utilize things? Money sitting in your cupboard, what happens to that? The value diminishes. But if you employ that money into chalan, business, what happens? It will increase. So the same thing with your lungs. If you employ the lungs, a larger portion of your lungs in active life, you will have a more robust body because there will be greater purification, and we'll see how. And if you don't employ the lungs, then they will degenerate, disintegrate, and die. And I always give the example of a bunch of keys. The keys in my pocket are all shining because I'm using them. But there is a duplicate key hung on a nail in my house. And those keys have become rusty. Why these keys are shining? Because they are being used. Why those keys are rusty? Because they are not used. What is true of the keys is true of your lungs. The portion of the lungs that you are not using is going to disintegrate and you are going to have respiratory troubles. You are already having respiratory troubles. You are not willing to admit it. Can you run as fast as you used to run when you were in the 5th standard in school? How many of you can run? Can you climb up a building the way you used to climb as a kid? You can't. Your lungs have already started rusting because you have not been using them after a certain period in life. When you stopped playing outdoor games, your lungs stopped coming into use. And then the consequences are severe, and we'll see how severe they are. So let's do another experiment. It's the same chitra. You saw this chitra earlier, inhalation and exhalation, right? Now I want you to sit straight. Again, do the same experiment. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale deep through your nose. Do it again. Inhale deep and exhale deep. All of you can do this. No issues. Now I want you to hold your palm in front of your mouth and nose and repeat the deep inhalation and exhalation. Repeat. One more time. Did you feel some air on your palm? Now I want you to repeat. But wait. Watch me. Watch what I am doing and repeat exactly what I am doing. I am holding my palm in front of my face. I am inhaling. I am exhaling through the nose. Now I am not inhaling. After I have finished exhalation through the nose, I am exhaling through the mouth. Watch. Can you do that? Could you exhale through the mouth after finishing exhalation through the nose? Could you exhale through the mouth after finishing exhalation through the nose? Yes. What does it tell you? It tells you a story. It tells you that you are not emptying your lungs during regular breathing, which you normally do through the nose. Which means your lungs are having a residual amount of air which contains largely carbon dioxide. Which means you are not emptying the jar of the chocolates. So you cannot fill 23 chocolates. You can fill only 16 chocolates because it is half full. You have not emptied out your lungs fully. If you have emptied out the lungs fully, you would have taken more air and more oxygen. But because you don't empty out your lungs fully, you are unable to take more air. Because the jar was half full, Advait could fill only 16. But when the jar was fully empty, Advait could fill 23 chocolates. And this is what is happening with your lungs. You are unable to fill your lungs because you are not emptying out your lungs fully. And this is what we teach in Life at Breath, how to empty out your lungs to your fullest capacity. Each person has his own capacity. Yeah, so there is no comparison because your thumbprints are different. So you don't compare with Advait and say, "Arey Advait, tu kitna bahar bechta hai? Arey yaar, tu itna 2 minute tak exhale karta hai. Main to 15 second mein khatam ho jata hu." So that is not a comparison. You are a separate person. Advait is a separate person. Everybody is a separate person. That is why we have a separate thumbprint. So this tells you a serious story that, hey, throw out the carbon dioxide. Empty out the jar, then you are ready to receive more of chocolates, more of oxygen. So here is a diagrammatic representation of what happens when you are breathing. So here is a human body shown in the right hand corner, bottom corner. Then there is a heart, then there is a pair of lungs, and then there is a human nose. All of us have these organs, right? We have a body and we have those organs. So the first step is the impure blood from all the organs in the body gets pumped into the heart. So the heart is a receiving station for all the dirty blood. Then the heart does another job. It sends the dirty blood to the lungs. In the lungs, this dirty blood meets with the air that you inhale, and along with the air, you are bringing in oxygen into the lungs. So oxygen comes in contact with the impure blood in the lungs. So now they are on a date. Oxygen is dating impure blood in the lungs, and they are going for disco. Chalo disco, mein jaye, jaye, jaye. Oxygen is having a disco with the impurities in the lungs. And what happens in the disco? बहुत पसीना आता है, बहुत energy spend होती है. So the oxygen is burning the impurities in the blood. And this burning causes creation of carbon dioxide, which is thrown out through the same nose. Carbon dioxide goes out. This leaves you with pure blood. Because the impurities are burnt, the blood is purified. And the heart is doing the job of pumping this pure blood back into the body. So now your body is receiving purified blood. Blood has two functions. One is supplying nutrition to various organs in the body. And second is to collect the impurities from all the organs in the body. Now you will wonder, what are the impurities? Impurities are wear and tear because the organs are functioning. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are pumping. Your pancreas is creating insulin. Your liver is creating enzymes. Your stomach is digesting. So there's a lot of movement going on inside the body, which causes wear and tear of the cells. So the breakdown products of the cellular tissues are the impurities which the blood collects, takes it to the heart, sends it to the lungs for burning and disposal. It's like the food that you eat. Nutrition is collected from the food, waste matter is thrown out. If you don't have the oxygen to burn the impurities, waste matter is not thrown out, your blood is constipated, you have not given it the ISAB goal. You have constipated blood, constipated with impurities. And then what happens when you are constipated? Those of you who have experienced constipation, what happens when you are constipated? A lot of other things follow, no? Some of you get stomach pain, some of you have loss of appetite, some of you feel listless, don't feel like working. So many other complications happen because of constipation. And some of you might even get piles and fissures. So when your blood is not getting purified, then the consequences of impure blood circulating in your body lead to a lot of complications, and let us see how that happens. We call blood as a garbage vehicle, like your municipal garbage vehicle that comes to your society every day. I hope it does, right? Suppose it stopped coming to your society, what would happen? Garbage will pile up in your society. There will be build-up of dirt in your society, build-up of foul odor in your society, build-up of mosquitoes, flies, rats, lizards, cockroaches. All these infestation will happen. And your society will be a lousy place to live. So the same thing is happening with your body. If your body is not clearing the garbage, then your body becomes a lousy place to live in. Why it is a lousy place to live in? Because now you have a number of diseases to address because the impurities are not cleared. Is it so simple? Yes, it is so simple. Just cleaning is a very simple exercise which many of us think ये कचरे वाले का काम है. नहीं भाई, ये अपना काम है. हर इंसान का काम है, सिर्फ कचरे वाले का काम नहीं. So see what happens in the breathing mechanism. So here there are two tubes. One is a red tube which contains blood and the impurities, and the other is a blue tube which contains air and oxygen. And depending on the depth of your inhalation, the quantum of oxygen is either less or more. This oxygen will start moving from the air tube to the blood tube. So here you will see the blue dots are the oxygen and the rough reddish rectangles are the impurities in the blood. And that oxygen is coming from the air sac into the blood vessel, attacking the red and destroying the red. In the tubes that I have drawn, you will see this mechanism happening like this. This oxygen is going from the air tube into the blood tube, attacking the impurity and burning the impurity. The number of oxygen molecules will determine how many impurities will be burned. So in this case, for example, there are only 4 oxygen molecules as compared to 9 or 10 impurities. So only 4 impurities are getting burned. 5 or 6 impurities return to the body, circulated by the blood. So what's the problem with that? The problem is that the unburned impurities will start piling up not only in the blood vessels, the arteries and the veins, but also in the organs. So they will start depositing in the heart, in the lungs, in the brain, in the kidneys, in the liver, in the joints. Various places wherever blood reaches in your body, impurities will start building up. What happens when impurities build up? The normal natural flow of blood is impeded because the flow pipe is now diminished, choked. And we are all familiar with cardiac disease because that's the common one which is addressed, angiography and angioplasty. We talk of infarction in the heart. Nobody talks of infarction in the brain. But as much as your heart is getting damaged and you run for angiography and angioplasty and bypass, to the same extent, all the other organs in your body are getting damaged. Because blood flow is impeded to your brain. So you get Alzheimer's, you get dementia, you get all the diseases related to the nervous system because the oxygen supply, the nutrition, the purification is diminished because the blood vessels, the arteries and veins in that area are weaker. Your kidney function gets impeded, your urine output gets affected, and you have kidney failures. You see the number of kidney transplant cases that have multiplied over the last few years. I'm sure you are aware of that. Yes or no? Simply look at the number of hospitals that have increased in our cities. Simply look at the number of medicines that have increased in the chemist shop. Simply look at the number of chemist shops that have sprung up in your locality. What does it tell you? It tells you that we are living in a progressively diseased society. Yes, no? And why? Because nobody taught us such simple things as purify your blood. Nobody taught us such simple things, increase your oxygen. Nobody taught us such simple things as breathe. Not a single school today is teaching you breathing. Not a single university is teaching you breathing. They are private teaching classes. Some yoga institute, some ancient philosophy. There is no compulsion on teaching breathing in any educational institute. People will teach you Bollywood dancing. People will teach you karate. People will teach you variety of sports. People will teach you music, dramatics. Nobody will teach you breathing. Yes, no? When impurities pile up, the arteries and veins develop blocks. The organs are getting blocked because of impurities and the organs start failing. The kidneys start failing, the brain starts failing, the heart starts failing, the lungs start failing. You are hearing of transplants. Hip joint replacement, knee joint replacement, kidney replacement, liver replacement, now lungs replacement. Why? I didn't take care of my body. I didn't breathe properly. I didn't burn my impurities. And therefore, I am now suffering from a diseased organ for which now I depend on a donor. And I don't know whether the donor has taken care of his organ. So I'm buying a second-hand car, not knowing how the previous owner used that second-hand car. Do you get that? And then I cry and say, organ failure. भगवान ने बहुत नाइंसाफी की. ये बहुत नाइंसाफी है. नाइंसाफी भगवान ने नहीं की, नाइंसाफी आपने की. You have not been fair with a beautiful body with which you were born. You are the architect of the destruction of that beautiful instrument that the universe gave you at the time of your birth. Are you understanding? Does it make sense? Or is it nonsense? मजाक करो यार, डॉक्टर है ना, बाद में वो संभालेगा. जब संभल नहीं पाता है तब समझ में आता है कि डॉक्टर कुछ भी नहीं संभाल सकता. एंड में डॉक्टर भी बोलता है बाकी अभी भगवान के हाथ में, मैंने तेरा 10 लाख ले लिया, ऊपर का 20-25 लाख भगवान को दे के आ तू. हाई बीपी, हार्ट फेलियर, मेडिकेशन, एंजियोग्राफी, एंजियोप्लास्टी, बाईपास, कितना चूना लगा? Let's say you are treating your heart for the last 7, 8, 9 years. कितना पैसा गया? कुछ हिसाब है? क्या बात है सर, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स और हिसाब नहीं है? मोदी जी को बोलना पड़ेगा. हाँ? इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स. हाँ, दिखते नहीं है ना, इसलिए इंटेंजिबल. आई कांट टच देम, आई कांट फील देम. और नीचे लिखा है किचन सिंक. अरे ये हार्ट के चक्कर में किचन सिंक कहां से लेके आया? आपके घर में किचन है सर? है ना? कभी सिंक चोक हुआ है? क्या किया आपने? पंपिंग किया, और फिर वो नहीं जाता है, फिर क्या किया? हाँ, ड्रेनेक्स बोल के एक पाउडर आती है, पाउच आता है, वो रात भर उसको डाल के रखो, मैजिक, सुबह एकदम सिंक चकाचक. और फिर भी सिंक चोक हुआ, फिर क्या करते हो? प्लम्बर को बुलाते. प्लम्बर क्या करता है? और बोलेगा साहब ये पाइप आपका खराब हो गया है, मैं बदली करवा देता हूं. फिर आप पाइप बदली करवा देते हो, एंड देन योर सिंक इज एज गुड एज न्यू. तो ये डॉक्टर आपका क्या कर रहा है? आपको पहले पंप मारता है, स्टेंट घुसा देता है, पंपिंग. फिर आपको केमिकल डाल देता है, उससे आपको लगता है कि मेरे आर्टरीज एंड वेन्स क्लीन हो गए. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है, वो भ्रम है. और ये सब काम नहीं करता है तब बाईपास करता है, नया पाइप डाल देता है, इधर से पाइप निकाला उधर डाल दिया. तो डॉक्टर भी तो प्लम्बर ही है. हाँ, एक्सपेंसिव प्लम्बर है, बहुत एक्सपेंसिव प्लम्बर है. अब आता हूं आपके एरिया में. आई एम नाउ गोइंग टू डील with the subject of breathing on the platform of accountancy. आप इकोनॉमिक्स बराबर समझेंगे. हाँ, पैसे की बात करूंगा तो दिमाग की घंटी टिंग टिडिंग टिंग ऑटोमेटिक हो जाएगी. एक पेशेंट है, लाइफ सपोर्ट विथ ऑक्सीजन. His lungs have gone bad. He is unable to breathe freely on his own and he needs external oxygen life support. His requirement of oxygen is 2 LPM, liters per minute. In 1440 minutes per day, oxygen consumed is 2880 liters. एक जंबो सिलेंडर आता है, इंडस्ट्रियल सिलेंडर, उसकी कैपेसिटी है 6000 liters. So in a year, 2880 into 365 is equal to 10,51,200 liters is his consumption. In terms of cylinders divided by 6,000 liters, it's approximately 175 cylinders. cost of one cylinder is approximately 950 rupees. So your annual cost of oxygen is 1,66,250. So for a person who is living for 70 years, he's spending 1 crore 16,37,500 rupees only on buying jumbo cylinders of 6,000 liters. और बेशरम लोगों, आपको ये ऑक्सीजन फ्री में मिल रहा है और आपके पास कोई ग्रैटिट्यूड नहीं है। मुझे यूनिवर्स ने क्या दिया? 1 करोड़ तो ऐसे ही आप प्लस में आ गए। 70 साल की जिंदगी जिए तो 1 करोड़ प्लस में आ गए फ्री में। हाँ ना? शर्म करो, थोड़ी तो शर्म करो कि यूनिवर्स ये मुझे फ्री देता है और मैं खाली ऑक्सीजन की बात कर रहा हूं। आई हैव नॉट इवन टॉक्ड ऑफ वाटर, आई हैव नॉट टॉक्ड ऑफ फूड। वो भी तो मिला है आपको। So I am constantly getting things in life, but I am reluctant to give. इतना तो मैं क्या दिया? What have I given in the law of give and take? खाली सांस लिया तो इतना लिया, क्या दिया? अब आते हैं फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट, डिजीज। व्हाट इज अ डिजीज? यस सर, व्हाट इज अ डिजीज?
The manifestation when many organs ceases to function.
सिंपल इंग्लिश लोग ना बहुत उस्ताद थे। द ब्रिटिशर्स वर एक्सीलेंट मैनिपुलेटर्स ऑफ letters and alphabet. Dis-ease, when I am not at ease, that is disease. Whatever be the reason, I am not at ease with my eyes and vision, so I have a disease of the eyes. I am not at ease with my digestive system, I have a gastrointestinal disease. I am not at ease with my respiratory system, I have lung fibrosis, another name for another disease. And we are good at giving exotic names to diseases. Lung fibrosis, सुनने को बहुत अच्छा लगता है ना? नेम एंड सरनेम लगता है ना, लंग फाइब्रोसिस। Here are some of the common diseases which we are aware of at the physical level. I have not named the serious diseases. Cancer, diabetes, cardiac conditions. So you can imagine the amount of physical diseases we encounter at different points of time with different people in our lives. What are our options? The first option which everybody exercises is self-medication. सर में दर्द है, क्रोसिन खा लो, डोलो खा लो। आजकल डोलो का जमाना है। पहले जो 500 मिलीग्राम में काम होता था, आजकल 650 करना पड़ता है। सेकंड ऑप्शन, डॉक्टर के पास जाओ। मेरे से तो नहीं बनता है, घर में मैंने बहुत इलाज किया, कुछ नहीं हुआ, सो लेट मी कंसल्ट अ डॉक्टर। थर्ड ऑप्शन, वो डॉक्टर प्रिस्क्रिप्शन देगा, आई हैव अ चॉइस, फाड़ के फेंक दो, या केमिस्ट के पास जाओ। What will the chemist do? He will fill in the prescription, he will give me the drugs, for which I have to spend money. So there is a purchase involved in buying the drugs from a chemist. And then I'm the consumer. And after I consume, the result can be cure or no result. Guarantee है क्या? Whatever दवा the doctor gave will cure you. Guarantee है क्या? Doctor भी नहीं देगा guarantee. And then you have money spent fully or wastefully. You have time waste, because when you are attending to a disease, you are spending time. कभी ऑफिस से छुट्टी लिया, कभी हॉस्पिटलाइज हो गया. So you have spent money, you have spent time. And then you try various therapies because nothing seems to be working on the ailment or the disease that you have. Is this the chitra which all of you are familiar with? Yes. So this is your experience. But shukar karo, at the physical level, there are pharmacists like me and chemists like me who are giving you medicines, and there are doctors who are diagnosing your ailments. अब आते हैं how many of you have been afraid of certain things at some point of time in your life? डर लगा, किसी चीज का डर लगा, पता है, डर तो लगता है. गुस्सा आया. How many of you have felt angry? देखो कितना रेडिली हाथ ऊपर जाता है. दुख हुआ. आई एम वेरी सैड. भला तेरी कमीज मेरी कमीज से सफेद कैसे? जेलसी. ये भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए, ऐसा भी चाहिए, वैसा भी चाहिए, उसका भी चाहिए, इसका भी चाहिए, सब कुछ मेरा. ग्रीड. लस्ट. जब भी कोई लड़की देखूं मेरा दिल दीवाना बोले. हा? फिर ईगो, एरोगेंस. अरे मैंने किया है, तू क्या समझता है? पीछे नहीं हटूंगा. ऑपोजिट ऑफ दैट, लो एस्टीम. नहीं यार, मेरे से तो नहीं हो पाएगा, तुम लोग करो. लैक ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस. हैव यू एवर ट्रीटेड दिस सब्जेक्ट एज डिजीज? बचपन से गुस्सा आ रहा है ना? मम्मी चॉकलेट, उसको दिया मुझे नहीं दिया, चॉकलेट. बचपन से गुस्सा आ रहा है, आज तक आ रहा है. कौन सा प्रिस्क्रिप्शन लिया भाई? डॉक्टर के पास गए? कौन से हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हुए? कितना पैसा खर्च हो गया? कि दिस इज अ डिजीज. I am not at ease at my mental level. There is a mental disease, but I didn't recognize it. I have lived with these diseases from the time I have become aware as a child till today. Will you live with diabetes without taking a single tablet or insulin? No, you will treat it immediately. अरे थोड़ा सा कट गया तो तुरंत बैंडेड लगा देते हो. तो ये तो बहुत भयंकर बीमारियां हैं. एंगर, हेट्रेड, ग्रीड, लस्ट. But we don't do anything to treat ourselves. Now your next question will be, is there any prescription for this? There is. Is there any cure for this? There is. Is there any doctor for this? There is. Let's see our options. As of now, none. We have never bothered. We have not recognized these mental conditions as disease. So where is the question? So we have not applied any treatment. We have not attempted any cure. And the disease has escalated. Consequences are unpleasant. I have psychosomatic conditions. Some diseases which are called as psychosomatic conditions. Relationship issues. Momentary anger, lifelong relationship broken. Sleeplessness. I'm not comfortable with my state of mind, therefore I can't sleep. Distraction, I can't concentrate on the job in hand. So all these things are happening at the mental level and we are not doing anything about it. So we have this terminology called psychosomatic ailments, which are mental cellular disorders. Mental is psycho, cellular is somatic. Therefore, that word psychosomatic. And here are a couple of examples. Stress is at the mental level. What happens when you are stressed? Your heart beats faster. You breathe faster and therefore shallow. Your skin becomes oily. Your muscles tense up. Your diabetes shoots up. Impotence possibility. skin diseases, pimples, rashes, allergies, psoriasis, panic attacks, headaches, and migraine. Take another example, anger. You run the risk of having a stroke, a cardiac disease, high BP, paralysis, indigestion, short, sharp breaths, gasping. You look at an angry person who is trying to talk, he will splutter. Words don't flow out freely from his mouth. Brain fade. In anger, the brain stops functioning momentarily. Decreased thyroid function, lower bone density, and blurry vision. गुस्से में I cannot see anything else except whatever that is making me angry. इस आदमी ने मुझे गुस्सा दिलाया. I refuse to look at all the other good people around that person. For me, at that moment, it's only this person. Bas. My vision has become blurry, figuratively and literally. Look at it from the other way, psychosomatic issues. If I'm full of sorrow, the first organ that gets affected is the lungs. And you can take to the extreme, going up to lung transplant, because I'm full of sorrow. Guilt. Your eyes will be affected. Your sleep will be affected. Your muscles will be affected if you are guilty. Fear. Your kidneys will be affected, your stomach will be affected, your intestine will be affected, your sweat glands will be affected. Worry, your spleen. If your spleen is affected, your immunity is lowered. Jealousy, your eyes, brain, gallbladder. So there is a direct connection of the emotional quotient affecting the cellular level. And we are treating at the cellular level without attempting to heal the emotional level. And that's why many therapies fail. And that's why the diseases have multiplied. Because we are not targeting the root cause. The root cause is in the emotion. You are targeting the cell. Again, the same chitra from a different point of view. Acidity, more due to mental stress than poor nutrition. हमको लगता है बहुत तेल खाया इसलिए acidity है. The greater reason is your mind. Hypertension, emotional quotient, less due to salt or fatty acids. डॉक्टर क्या बोलते हैं? Salt कम करो, fried cheese कम खाओ. Nobody tells you your emotions are disturbed, therefore you have hypertension. Cholesterol. High cholesterol levels because of laziness. And that's of the mind. And people tell you are consuming more of palm oil that is imported from Malaysia and Indonesia. And you are not utilizing the pure coconut oil. It is 35% with palmolene. Adulteration officially permitted by the government of India. Diabetes, you're selfish and stubborn. And people say, बहुत मीठा खाता है इसलिए diabetes हुआ. You look at the diseases and look at the connection to the mind. And you will see that you can heal yourself without going for medication simply by calming down your mind. Cancer, bottled anger. एक ये एक्सट्रीम है कि मैं एंग्री हूं और मैंने गुस्से में किसी को 2 तमाचा मारा या किसी का मर्डर भी कर दिया. आई एम सो एंग्री. So here is an expression of anger exploded in the external environment. And here is the other extreme of anger where I bottle up the anger because it is antisocial to be expressive about anger. So when I bottle the anger, what happens to that anger? It explodes inside. And my cells start exploding and multiplying at a rapid rate, which is cancer. And I say, smoking की वजह से cancer हुआ. How many smokers have lived for 100 years and had no disease? If smoking was causing cancer, no smoker would have reached 100 years without disease. I'm not suggesting smoking karo. Smoking is injurious. There will be people who will interpret me in that way. Sir ने बोला smoking karo. हम तो स्मोकिंग अभी चालू करते हैं, बंद किया था, लेकिन अभी आज समझ में आया कि स्मोकिंग से कैंसर नहीं होता है. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the emotional factor in causing cancer is much higher. So what is your mind? Your mind is like a whiteboard. The screen was white till I projected my presentation on it. Today, you are forced to see a very boring, dull presentation on the same white screen. I'm sure you have had some more exciting presentations in the past on the same white screen in the same auditorium. Screen does not participate in the quality of your experience. It is what you take on your mind that determines the quality of your life. You are born with a white mind, with the choice of writing whatever script you wanted to write. You were born in an English society, and the script written on your mind was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You were born in a Hindi society, and the script written was A, E, I, U, A, I. Unfortunately, आज हिंदी सोसाइटी भी ABCD सिखाती है, वो अलग बात है. Whichever society you were born in, the script was written by that society. You were born in Tamil Nadu, you were taught to eat rice and sambar like this. You were born in China, the same rice you were eating with chopsticks, one grain at a time. You were born in the same way, the same rice you ate with a spoon and fork. So the society in which you were born scripted your mind. You were born in a Hindu society, the Hindu script was scripted on your mind. You were born in a Muslim society, the Muslim script was scripted on your mind. And then you became कट्टर. आजकल बहुत चल रहा है ये वर्ड, कट्टर ईमानदार. अपने केजू साहब. So the scripting of your mind is the major role played by the society. Mind is like a whiteboard. When you are born, it is clean. Society scribbles on it. Whatever is written appears to the world. Whatever is written on the whiteboard today appears to you. For today, for me, you are the world today. I could have written Shairi. The first slide was Shairi. Yeah. I could have written Shairi and entertained you instead of boring you. If there is nonsense, nonsense will be visible. And you have that second picture under the whiteboard. It is the same whiteboard with some scribbling on it, probably nonsense. You want to write sense on it, clean it, rewrite it. So if your mind has been dirtied by the society in which you were born and brought up, there is a method available to clean your mind and rewrite it. So that all the nonsense that is getting revealed in the society in which you are expressing, that can change. Now I will not go forward. I want to know from you, what is your understanding of this word, marriage? Advait, you're married? You're one of the fresh married persons, right? When did you marry? 2017. हाँ, so fresh, ना? इधर हम लोग तो we were married in last janam. So, what is marriage? Ah, how nice. Who else? Umrigar Sahab. Umrigar Sahab said, compromise. I agree. I don't disagree with any answer that you're going to give. I'm telling you right now. So your answers will not be wrong. What you want to say is right. So what is marriage? Why did you marry? See, Advait, though his marriage is fresh, he is now thinking, अरे मैं शादी क्यों किया? घर पे लिंग नहीं है ना? This link is not in Advait's house. Thank God. नहीं तो जाके चंपी मालिश, तेल मालिश. Most of us don't know why we married. We never understood marriage. We married for all the stupid reasons that the society made us accept. Why did you marry? Because everyone marries. Simplest answer, ना सब लोग करता है इसलिए मैंने भी किया. Why did you marry? My parents wanted me to marry. Safe answer. मेरे को मत पूछो, बाप को पूछो. Why did you marry? Because I wanted dowry. I wanted to climb the social ladder, the economic ladder. Because I wanted security. औरत को अकेला रहना डेंजरस रहता है. भेड़िए बहुत मंडरा रहे हैं, उनसे बचने के लिए मैंने शादी की. Why did you marry? Because if I didn't marry, they would say something is wrong. बंदे में कुछ गड़बड़ है. शादी क्यों नहीं कर रहा है? And then there will be whispers. ये तेरे को पता है? उसने शादी क्यों नहीं की? जैसे कि इसको पता है. Has anyone understood marriage? And yet, people take this decision of getting married without understanding marriage. Isn't it amazing? और 30, 40, 50 साल हम उस मैरिज में लड़खड़ाते रहते हैं. देखा? अफसोस आज महसूस हो रहा है. अफसोस. To understand it, did you ask before you got married, what is marriage? How many of you asked this question? What is marriage? कोई नहीं पूछता. So unless you ask, what is it that I am getting into, how will you know? और कौन है जो इसका सही जवाब आपको दे सकता है? Because everybody is in the same boat. Everybody has committed the same, in inverted commas. You put the word there. Same thing with religion. What is religion? Religion is man's interpretation of spirituality at different places and periods of time in the history of mankind to facilitate the lifestyle of that region. Where the sun was very powerful, there was sun god. Where there is no sun, sun was not considered a god. If I am born in an Islamic country, then Islam is the religion formulated for the society that is in the Middle East. The Abrahamic society. Both Christianity and Islam sprung up from the same source, Abraham, and then got interpreted differently to suit the region. And then it was packaged and sold to the larger community in a convenient language. Religion is being misused as a tool for acquiring power and money. And you are seeing this everywhere. Which religion advocates spirituality? Religions advocate rituals. Religions advocate collection. Religions advocate conversions. Religions advocate power, grabbing. Religion divides human society. You don't belong to a religion. Out. Did your God create religion? Your God created you. Did he create a Hindu with a brain in the head and a Muslim with a brain in the knees? No, both were created with a brain in the head. Did God create with a Parsi with his heart on the right side and Jain with his heart on the left side? Both were born with the heart slightly off center towards the left. The Creator created a human being. The human being created religion and divided the society. I'm giving you bits and pieces of the questions that I asked you right at the beginning. These are my questions for you, so that you go home and start thinking about, what am I doing? Then we talk of dharma, and people equate dharma to religion. Dharma is not religion. Dharma is the purpose for which you were born. That is your dharma. If you are discharging the purpose, you are a dharmic. If you are not discharging the purpose, you are adharmi. It is the lion's dharma to be a predator. You can't feed lion with grass. That's not his dharma. The lion has to kill a buffalo. It is man's dharma to seek higher knowledge. And that's why I've given these two pictures, the picture of a lion and the picture of a man. The lion is horizontal and the man is vertical, and the universe or the creator or God, whatever you want to call the creator, has constructed an animal in a horizontal plane because all the things in the animal are at the same level. But man he created differently. He wanted man to have the brain at the top #1 position so that you use your brain more. He has graded man according to the importance of the organs. Unfortunately, whole mankind looks downward towards the two basic desires which even animals are satisfying, food and sex. The entire mankind is in the satisfaction of these two desires. And therefore, we are not following our dharma, which is utilizing our head for advancement of not only me as the individual, but we as a collective. Are you understanding this, or is it becoming too heavy? Yeah? Then you come to karma. After dharma, you come to karma. These are two very powerful words in our traditional Indian context. Karma is the act that we perform. Read very carefully. Karma is the act that we perform, and we talked about act in the beginning. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. Whatever actions you do will produce the same result. Jaisi karni vaisi bharni, reap as you sow. That's karma. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction again. The law of physics, the third law of motion. Your today is the reaction of your yesterday. Read this again and again. Your today is the reaction of your yesterday. Who scripted your today? You. But this is not how we live lives. We live lives blaming somebody else. Agar aisa hota to, if my father had more money, I would have studied more. If my mother was beautiful, I wouldn't have this kind of nose. There is a poem attributed to Chhatrapati Shivaji. I don't know whether he said it, but there is a poem. Ashitsa muchi ai asti sundara rupavati, amihi sundara dhalo astu. Vadale Chhatrapati. The Chhatrapati said that if my mother was as beautiful as that lady who was captured by one of his subedars and brought to his court, we would have also become so beautiful. So your today is a result of your yesterday, whatever you did yesterday, the fruits you are bearing today. And if that is true, then your actions today will bring the reactions tomorrow. So be careful what you are doing today. Because you are the script writer of your tomorrow. आगे चल के बोलना मत, अरे बचपन में थोड़ी एक्सरसाइज कर लेता था तो अभी मोटापा नहीं आता था, हार्ट पे प्रेशर नहीं आता था, इतना कार्डियक मेडिसिन पे खर्चा नहीं होता था. You have scripted your today by your actions yesterday, and you are now scripting your tomorrow. For a better future, write a good script today. For a better future physically, improving the health, write a good script for your breathing. For a better future tomorrow, calm, peaceful, happy, joyful life, write the script of your mind today. Meditation. And then the third word, again, a donation from India to the world. The world doesn't understand this terminology, prana. Prana is energy, also called prana shakti or atma shakti. Atma is linked to Paramatma. Paramatma is also supposed to be God. In the word Paramatma, there is a word Atma. Param Atma. The whole consciousness. My Atma, my consciousness. So my Atma is a small portion of the whole. Energy is also vibrations, quantum physics. Vibrations cause motion because my vibrations can never be static. Directing energy will direct motion. If I am a car driver and I have the steering wheel in my hand, it is where I turn the steering wheel, that is where the car will go. So I am directing the car in a particular direction towards a particular destination. Understanding energy and use it for your benefit. Understand energy. If I don't understand energy, I can be harmed. If I don't understand electricity and if I open some switches or live connections, I can get a shock. And you have those Havel advertisement, laga, 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 shock laga. Misunderstand energy, it will lead you to your destruction. Which energy are we talking of? We are talking of prana energy, the energy that energizes your life. The energy that is vibrating in you. Because it is vibrating in you, you are alive. Because it vibrated in you in your childhood, you could go to school. Because it vibrated in you and you had a sense of direction, you attempted chartered accountancy. Because it is vibrating in you, you are today a practicing chartered accountant. If that energy did not vibrate in you, you wouldn't even pass kindergarten. Isn't it? It is that energy that enabled you to achieve whatever you have achieved today. Prana energy is, in common man's language, God. And where is this God? Where is this God? Inside you. And yet I spend tons of money and loads of time going to Tirupati Balaji, Vaishnav Devi, Ye Mandir, Wo Mandir. And I also sing, Main Mandir Pahuncha, haan ji. So what is the objective of the Life and Breath program, or the objectives of the program which we as an organization, Pratibim Charitable Trust, we are here to enable people to understand that the sole purpose of your life is to purify your life. How to purify your life? By purifying the instrument through which you live your life. Purify your body, purify your mind, utilize the prana energy at its optimum level and obey the laws of living. Because the laws cannot be broken. You will be broken, the law cannot be broken. Attempt to break the law will break you. So here are some differences which I have listed, created by human beings. I am an American, you are an Asian. I am white, you are black. I am poor, you are rich. I am literate, you are illiterate. I am Christian, you are Muslim. I am short, you are tall. I am thin, you are fat. I am civilized, you are uncivilized. I am Malayali, you are Punjabi. I am man, you are woman. I am a child, you are an adult. I am young, you are old. I am able, you are disabled. I am clean, you are dirty. I am healthy, you are unhealthy. I am a spectator, you are a player. I am violent, you are calm. I am right, you are wrong. All these differences are created by the human being. God never created these differences. God simply created this. And this is pure body, mind, and energy. The American also has the same type of human body which you, African, Australian, or European has. The head is in the same place, eyes are in the same place, heart is in the same place, liver is in the same place, spleen is in the same place. Every organ in the body is in the same place, and every system in the body functions exactly the same. So physically, God created everyone alike. The Brazilian is equal to the Chinese anger. So the emotions are also the same. The mother's love in Hawaii is not different from the mother's love in Christchurch. So emotions are also same. Physical structure is same, mental setup is same. Energy is constant. Like the electricity. The electricity in the bulb, the electricity in the projector, the electricity in the camera is 230 volts, 50 cycles. Each object looks different, functions differently. Energy is the same. The prana in the Punjabi and the Malayali is the same. The prana energy makes the Punjabi say, okay, aletoda. And in the Malayali, you will say, Yatra Grundarno. But it is the same energy. The expression is different, the looks are different, the skin color is different, the tongue rotates differently or vibrates differently. God created you alike, you created the differences, and now you are miserable. You've made yourself miserable. Two reasons for ailments. You are ill because you have no spiritual connect in this life. Spiritually, you are lost and therefore you have ailments. 50% of the reason is spiritual. You are ill, 25% of the reasons are in the mind. We saw the psychosomatic connect. And because of your penchant for social presentation or appearance, 15% of your, how do I look in the society? वो मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेगा? I am troubled by these thoughts. It is my social setup that causes disease. अच्छी साड़ी पहन के चलना, उधर बहुत लोग आने वाले हैं, मेरे बॉसेस आने वाले हैं, उसकी बीवी तो कांजीवरम सिल्क पहन के आएगी. So I am living by appearances in the society. I am not living by my needs or my philosophies. I am living by somebody else's benchmarks. Physical causes are 10%. And that is the area which we are harboring or harping on more. Familiar subject, chartered accountants, ABC and VD analysis. A value, B value, C value, vital, essential, desirable, right? Today in our life, spiritual aspects have C value and they are in the desirable category. The mental has B value and it is in an essential category. Today people are realizing that the mind is required to be in a calmer state. Socially, A and vital It is a value and vital. We are so much towards social that our entire life is programmed according to the social needs. And physical, again A and V. How do I look? How do I smell? Fog लगा के जाऊंगा. आजकल एक नई ऐड चल रही है ना, तेरा नशा नशा. If you were serious about your life, this is the valuation you would do. Spiritual would be A and V, mental would be B and E, social would be C and D, and physical would be C and D. If you were to reprogram your life, this is the valuation that you should do. This slide is specially made for chartered accountants because you understand ABC and VD, right? I'm sure you have studied this, isn't it? So that brings me to Life and Breath, the curriculum that we are offering. It's your life. It's your choice. Live it as it is. अरे मेरे लाइफ में सब कुछ ठीक है, तेरे को क्या करने का है मेरे लाइफ से? आई एम हैप्पी द वे आई एम, तथास्तु. और you have a choice. Transform it the way you want it. मेरे को बोलने के लिए आपके पास कुछ ठीक है, चंगे हैं, बट मन ही मन आप बोल रहे हो इफ आई कुड डू सर्टन थिंग्स डिफरेंटली, then transform the way you want it, not the way I want it. Transformation the way you want it. आज मेरी जिंदगी कैसे चल रही है? ओ तेरी की. अगर मैं चाहूं तो यही जिंदगी मैं ऐसे चला सकता हूं. हाँ, बड़ा ही हो सकता है, मैं क्या जानूं, यश मुखर्जी भी हो सकता है, लेकिन मैं चाहूं तो मैं ऐसे भी जी सकता हूं. इट इज अप टू मी, चॉइस इज माइन. डू आई वांट टू लिव लाइक दिस और डू आई वांट टू लिव लाइक दैट? इट्स अ चॉइस एंड अ डिसीजन व्हिच यू हैव टू मेक. Here is another transformation, something which you can see very evidently. It's the same lamp, before and after. The dull lamp got transformed to the shining lamp. It did not happen automatically or by magic. A lot of effort went into the cleaning and polishing. There is an investment of time and your commitment. Are you ready? Invest your time and commit to your self-improvement. You are ready to invest your time and money in somebody else's enterprise. Reliance का शेयर क्या भाव में चल रहा है? आज कितना ऊपर गया स्टॉक मार्केट? I am not interested in myself as much as I am interested in somebody else's enterprise. हाँ ना? कुछ तो बोलो. हाँ, जोर से बोलो. हाँ. Learn transformation at Life and Breath, offered by Pratibim Charitable Trust. It's a program that we offer online. It's a program that we offer in physical camps, residential camps. It's a program which we offer sometimes physical, like this class, physical. And we are about to launch a do-it-yourself module. So the program of Life and Breath will be launched soon as a do-it-yourself module where at your pace, at your convenience, you register, you log in, you have access to all the lessons, and you study the lessons and practice what is taught as per your time availability. So this brings me to the end of the presentation, and I hope it made sense to you. If it did make sense to you, then I want all those people who are also witnessing it online, consider a transformation in your life, because I know that a lot of A value items are unhappy. And we want to transform those A value items from unhappy to happy. And that's the sole objective of Pratibhin Charitable Trust. Mind you, none of the participants of Pratibhin Charitable Trust take a single rupee as compensation for the work that is being done. The entire work is a voluntary activity. And all the members who are sitting here will vouch for that. They are all committed to offering their time and services for Pratibhin to enable human beings to realize their potential. Thank you very much. Please enjoy one more chocolate. Advait, can you distribute the chocolates? If you have questions, I am ready to answer any question. Please feel free to ask any question, related, unrelated. I am there to answer.
So you said 50% of the problem is caused due to spirituality. What according to you is the spirituality? Because spirituality, I mean, I guess we all consider ourselves spiritual in some way. And we also try to do good things. So when you say 50% have been caused because of lack of spirituality.
Because we don't understand what is spirituality. What is spirit, we don't understand. We think we understand spirituality. We think we are doing a lot of things spiritually. But we don't understand. We don't understand things which are tangible. We don't understand marriage. We live with a person, we don't understand that person. Spiritual is something which we don't even see, we can't smell, we can't touch, we can't taste. How will you understand something which is not tangible?
Just
So-
to add his question,
Yeah.
sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
go ahead.
We are often confused with the meaning of religion and spirituality.
Which is why I brought this subject up.
Yeah.
I know that there is a lot of
Yes,
confusion in the
because we
society.
connect spirituality with religion.
Spirituality is about your spirit. Religion doesn't talk about your spirit. Religion talks about God somewhere in some location. Different religions talk about God in different locations, in different forms. Whereas the spirit is inside you. And I'm not talking of the bottles that you consume. Yeah, I'm not talking of that spirit. I'm talking of the spirit that energizes you. You became a chartered accountant because that energy enabled you to walk to school, to write your exams, to read the lessons, to memorize. Without that energy, you couldn't have done that. Are you in connection with that spirit? That is the question. And this is exactly what we teach in depth in the curriculum. How to connect with your own spirit. When will I become spiritual? When I douse myself in the spirit of life. When do I become spiritual? When I am sozzled. Yeah? एक पूरी बाटली पी गया, मेरे अंदर स्पिरिट दौड़ रहा है और मैं झूम बराबर झूम शराबी हूं. Am I drunk with the spirituality that energizes my life? I am not. I treat it as a cursory subject. कभी घर में किसी ने बोल दिया आज त्योहार है तो चलो मंदिर जाते हैं. So it is an excursion for me and not a compulsion. I don't make it as compulsory as brushing my teeth. You brush your teeth every day. Why? So much importance you give to 32 small pieces in your mouth, not even your whole body. Do you give the same importance to the prana shakti inside you? Are you so devoted every day to the prana shakti inside you? You're not. How can you claim to be spiritual? To be spiritual, I have to associate with the spirit. I don't even know the ABC of association. Religion doesn't teach me association with spirit. Religion teaches me association with a location, association with a form, association with a date, association with a ritual, which has got nothing to do with spirit. I hope I answered you. Kind of. You're not convinced. Okay. So where is the hitch?
Well, really speaking, I would think, okay, we are spiritual, Forget the form, forget going to temples, forget going to mosque, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I guess if at the core you are doing something that does not hurt your conscience, like you do not offend somebody, you do not hurt, you are what I would think spiritual. You if you get what I mean. I don't know.
I understood what you're saying. Let me ask you a question. You are a qualified chartered accountant.
Yeah.
Can you simply write in your layman's language, itna andar aaya, itna kharcha kiya, itna balance ho gaya, and your balance sheet is made? Can you write it in layman's language? Itna income, itna output, itna balance, itna profit, itna loss, और आपका balance sheet हो गया. Can you write your balance sheet in a chartered accountant's language that way?
Yes, I guess I.
No, you can't. It will not be accepted. It will not be certified.
Yes.
I can do that. I can write my income and expense statement and show whether I'm making loss and profit. Will you certify it as a chartered accountant? You won't.
No.
Yeah, there is a format in which you have to write your books of accounts. Only then it will be certified by a chartered accountant. So there is a format by which you connect with the spirit inside you, and not as a casual exercise of writing income and expense. If I have a rule for a small subject like chartered accountancy, life is a big rule. There are bigger rules. To present yourself in a particular format which is acceptable to the energy. Listen very carefully. Acceptable to the energy. When it is not acceptable to the energy, you suffer in the form of disease and mental trauma. If you are free from disease and mental trauma, you have become spiritual. Then you are following the pattern of the energy. Everything is energy. The whole universe started with energy. You and I arrived on the scene much, much later. There were other creatures who arrived first, and Earth is a tiny dot in the whole macrocosm. So what are we really talking of? We don't even understand. If you compress the entire objects of the universe into a box and derive a percentage, and I say universe is boundless, infinity. And if I were to collect the finite objects in the universe and put them in a box, what would be the percentage? Anything divided by infinity would be insignificant. So it would be in decimals, 0.0000. Our knowledge of substance is what we claim to be knowledge. No, we are on Earth, which is a tiny dot. Our knowledge is only about Earth and all the material substances on Earth. In comparison to the energy that is flowing in the universe, what is that knowledge? Nothing. Take the best cardiologist in the world. What is his knowledge? Talking of a 225-gram organ in the body, and about that he doesn't have the complete knowledge. He's the best cardiologist in the world. And still he doesn't have the entire knowledge of that 225 grams of organ in the body. What knowledge are we talking of? And here is this energy which is creating galaxies, solar systems, planets, comets, which are in perfect harmony and motion without accidents. Are we even anywhere near that energy? We are not. How can we claim to be spiritual? The deeper you go, the discovery is even more. You realize that I don't know anything. If you go 600 meters down, 1,200 meters down, you will find diamond. But then when you look at the earth, if you draw an earth, then you have hardly penetrated the surface. The earth is so deep.
So your program is more.
The basic course addresses the body and the mind. The advanced course takes you into the realm of spirituality, because now you have understood the importance of purification of body and mind in the basic course. Once you have purified your body and mind, now you are ready to undertake the spiritual journey. The spiritual journey is 5 times or 6 times more than the basic course. If the basic course is 20 lessons, the advanced course is 120 lessons.
Yeah. So basically I was asking was, I mean, is it just a repetition of pranayam and things like that?
No.
Or is it something?
That's why I covered several points in today's small presentation, which were touching various aspects in life. It is not exhaustive, as you can easily understand, but I just touched, if I give you a glass of sharbat, you just touched the rim of the glass. Probably you got a taste of a fallen drop on that rim. You didn't even taste the sharbat.
Sir, may I say something? Thank
Somebody
you very
online
much,
asking?
sir. You have been speaking for
Yes,
more than-
Govindji.
you have been speaking for more than 100 minutes. May I now request you to please take your seat. We have to close the session somewhere, and the subject spirituality is such that you can speak on this subject for hours and hours. We'll have to sit with you for
Please sit.
several number of days
That's what he
to
says.
understand what is spirituality. Spirituality, religion are totally different things which each and every one of us have to understand. As far as today's subject is concerned, sir, we said life and breath, and every one of us will have to understand perfectly the theory of chocolate jar. Chocolate jar theory, if we understand perfectly, then we can certainly convert that NPA into performing asset, and we can certainly do something to improve upon the process of inhaling and exhaling. There are so many other things you have touched upon, but I feel all these aspects will have to sit together and understand in different other sessions. You have given a glimpse of all those things, mind and body, spirituality and religion. There are several things I know which you are doing through this Pratibimb Charitable Trust. I would like to appeal all those participants who are attending physically as well as online. Sir, more than 100 people have joined you online. In the audience sitting there, maybe a few very less people, but more than 100 people have joined you online. And everyone on the chat box is conveying appreciation and thanks to you. Sir, we'll have to have more and more sessions with you. And I would like to appeal all the participants, whether joining physically or online, to get some kind of attachment with this Pratibimb Charitable Trust. Whatever way you would like to attach with this trust, it is doing marvelous job. Friends, sincere thanks to you for joining us in this session. May I request Gracie to present a vote of thanks, well-deserved vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Before the pleasant task of vote of thanks, there are a couple of questions which I just want to see. I don't know whether he's going to reply. One question is, sir, why do we marry? And I think a lot has been said already on that.
Already all the
Another one is just wondering if God Paramatma is inside us, why we are Atma.
you will have to devote
have anything to
three
say,
more
sir?
hours on
Tell me.
this.
Tell
You
us.
will have to devote 3 more hours on
You
this.
can take on this.
Gracie has valid questions.
What we insist online.
Okay. So the first question was, why do we marry? And I think I've cleared that in the slide itself, that we marry for a variety of reasons, which are not two reasons, because nobody has answered the question, what is marriage? Marriage essentially is a companionship which validates each gender. It is a complement of each gender. Unfortunately, in marriage, both participants are uncomplimentary. And that is the biggest issue with marriages. Marriage is a complement. We don't treat it as a complement. So I guess that should answer the question, why do we marry? We marry because of a variety of reasons which are not based on the right understanding of what is marriage. The second question was,
Atma and Paramatma.
God is Paramatma, why are we
Ah,
Atma?
if God is Paramatma, why are we Atma? Now, when you talk of God, so I don't know if you can see the bottle in my hand. The water inside the bottle in my hand is crystal clear, untarnished. So if you could imagine Paramatma as an untarnished entity, then this bottle would be a reflection of that Paramatma. Now, suppose I was to put in some colors in this bottle, then this clear water would be tarnished water. Then that tarnished water does not meet the expectation of the clear water. You wouldn't be drinking tarnished water. The Atma has got tarnished by unfulfilled desires and imbalances in give and take relationships in the past. So as long as these colorations remain in the Atma remains a tarnished version of the Paramatma and therefore cannot merge with the Paramatma. And that is the purpose of the Atma, to become pure so that you attain, as they claim, self-realization, enlightenment, atonement, or nirvana. These are the words which are used for becoming so pure that you are matching the purity of the Paramatma. When the Atma becomes as pure as the Paramatma, you can't differentiate the two. We are Atmas because of our colorations. We have colorations of our desires, unfulfilled desires, newly acquired desires, imbalances of give and take. I take something more from my parents, I don't give them enough, or I give my parents a lot and I have not received enough. There are imbalances in relationships everywhere in my life. So as long as these imbalances exist, my Atma will exist separate from the Paramatma.